Hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday. The S&P 500 was up 0.25% today, kind of carrying through what it brought in on Friday, which was an up market. Last week we had a couple down days, three in a row, actually. And then Friday was good because the inflation report came out as expected. Today is kind of carrying through, even in the face of some new announced tariffs, which I think is kind of interesting because as you know, tariffs are out there. 78% of the tariffs supposedly are under this emergency declaration, which two lower courts have now ruled are illegal, saying the president doesn't have the ability to do tariffs under that particular guideline. Whereas there's what I call the line item guideline, which is basically where the president can put tariffs on certain industries. And so we started to see that last week. We saw, 100% tariffs on pharmaceuticals, tariffs on big trucks, kitchen cabinets. Over the weekend, talking about tariffs on films made outside the United States, tariffed at 100%. And so some of these numbers are pretty big. It'd be interesting to see how it plays out. And I think they're doing that in case the Supreme Court comes along and says, hey, these tariffs are illegal in that emergency piece. They're going to have to refund all those tariffs. And so having these other tariffs in place to try to deal with that. So that's where the tariff piece becomes a real interesting issue. We're announcing all these tariffs. The market isn't responding that dramatically to it. I think partly because of the, question of, are they really going to be here? From a variety of sources. I mean, if you look at it, could be the courts that end up striking this down, or at least partially. They bring over these other tariffs. How do they work? What type of impact do they have? Do they continue? Are there a lot of exemptions that'll make so the tariffs aren't that bad? You can say 100% tariff, but if it only applies to a very small portion because of all the different exemptions, then it doesn't have that much impact. And so we're still in this, uh, period of time where we're trying to figure out what these mean. And then, historically, tariffs at these levels have not held up. And so you end up in a situation where historically the, tariffs don't work. This is probably not going to be different, and then tariffs could come back down. And again, if that happens before something falls apart economically, things could work out pretty well here because we still have the positives going, with the AI's trade, the lower tax rates, and the deregulation, and all the things that are on the positive side for the stock market. Growth, earnings growth has been great. Gross domestic product is growing fast. Consumers are spending money. Some of these may be caused by the tariffs, where people are actually spending money, at a higher rate right now because they want to do it before it gets more expensive. So it could be a little bit misleading as to why the economy is doing well, but we'll wait and see and kind of see how this continues as far as that goes, as prices continue to gain. Interesting time frame. The market is, obviously excited about what's happening. However, it's interesting to see how long that can continue. You've got this situation with the potential government slowdown. Historically, that has not been a big stock market problem in the past, but you kind of throw it on the pile of all the things that could create problems. Got to be a little careful that you don't get too many things on the negative side. So we'll see how that plays out. So we'll talk about that some more tomorrow and look forward to talking to you then. Thank you very much.